One Saturday morning, your husband had just woken up, hair disheveled, still wearing yesterday's t-shirt. Before even making coffee, he sat down on the floor. He brought the baby in front of him, and with no plan, no toys, just making silly shapes with his hands and unexpected sounds, he started playing with the baby. The baby froze at first, just watched, then laughed, then stopped, and waited. The father did it again. This time the baby laughed louder, longer, and then right there, something happened. The baby's hands came up in a small, clumsy, determined movement. They did what their father had done. When you saw this, something crossed your mind. Is this child trying to imitate him? This small. How are they doing this? And what you really wanted to know was, what was your baby actually learning in that moment? What were they feeling? This scene felt very familiar to you, didn't it? Because this wasn't the first time. Think about it. When your husband looks at the baby, the moment the baby looks back at him is different. They look at you too, but they look at their father differently. When looking at their father, there's a kind of anticipation in their eyes, as if wondering, what is he going to do now? And patiently waiting for the next scene. And this look isn't only during playtime, it's there when Dad walks into the room. It's there when Dad's voice is heard. Sometimes even when Dad isn't there, when a sound comes from the door, the baby's eyes turn that way. A friend told me, my husband coughed, and our baby immediately closed their mouth and tried to cough. Such a tiny baby, how did they learn to imitate? Another friend said, my husband knocked on the table, our baby knocked on the table, then looked at my husband, a look that seemed to say, did I do it right? And a father shared this. When I heard it, my heart warmed. One day I laughed. My son watched. I laughed again. He watched again. Then even when I wasn't laughing, he started laughing, as if saying, this part of the game is mine now. My own baby James sometimes imitates my husband Jacob while he's playing. So why? Why does he keep trying to imitate his father? Why does the baby always look at the father after doing something? And what is really underneath that look? These aren't just sweet moments. There's something genuinely surprising underneath them. And once you learn it, you'll never see that Saturday morning the same way again. This is made for you. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. All right, let's go. Inside your baby's brain, there are special cells that activate when they watch someone else's movement. Researchers call these mirror neurons, and these cells do something truly surprising. Your baby doesn't need to make the movement. Just seeing it is enough. Seeing something activates your baby's brain almost as much as actually doing it. Think about this for a moment. Your baby, just by watching, is preparing their motor system, sending signals to their muscles, rehearsing, I can do this too. And this process becomes much more active during play. So when Dad makes a silly sound, when he unexpectedly opens his arms, your baby's brain records these movements far more powerfully than quiet, repetitive movements. The unpredictable nature of Dad's play actually keeps your baby's imitation system constantly awake and ready. Every new movement is an opportunity to learn something new, and your baby doesn't want to miss any of these opportunities. That's why they join in with every game their father plays. The thing your baby does in the middle of an imitation game is look at their father after doing something, as if saying, did I do it right? Researchers call this social referencing. When a baby doesn't know what to do in an uncertain situation, they look at the face of someone they trust. They look for clues in that face. If Dad is smiling, safe, keep going. If Dad looks serious, wait, be careful. Research shows that babies do this social referencing behavior with mothers too, but during play with Dad, this behavior appears much more often. Why? Because Dad's play is more unpredictable. Something new can happen at any moment. There's more uncertainty, and when there's uncertainty, the baby looks. Because that face is the most reliable guide for reading this world. This look isn't "I love you." This look is "I am learning from you how to read this world." And this is one of the earliest social learning moments in a person's life. That moment when your baby laughs with their father isn't just a fun moment. That moment is something special for the brain. Researchers find this. When a baby experiences intense joy, the brain encodes what is being learned in that moment far more powerfully. So an experience during that silly game played with dad leaves a much deeper mark than the same experience in a calm environment. Think of it with an example. You remember very little from an ordinary workday. But a day when you laughed and had fun with friends, you remember that for years. Your baby's brain works exactly the same way. During moments of intense joy, the brain hits the record this button. So dad's silly movements create your baby's most powerful learning moments, and these moments leave a deeper mark in your baby's mind than anything else. Dad did something. The baby laughed. Dad stopped, and the baby waited. That waiting moment, that small, tense silence, is actually when something very intense is happening in your baby's brain. The baby is making predictions. Will he do it again? When? The same way, or different? And this prediction process makes your baby's frontal brain, the center of thinking, planning, and anticipation, extremely active. Researchers explain it this way. Knowing something is coming but not knowing exactly when or how it will come is one of the most intense states of arousal for the brain. This is exactly what makes a good film or a good story keep you glued to the screen. Not the surprise. The anticipation of the surprise. Dad, without realizing it, uses this anticipation gap perfectly. He places every game right in that interval, right in that uncertainty, and your baby's brain waits for this gap, loves this gap, grows in this gap. Researchers studied not just the immediate effects of play with dad, but the long-term effects too. And what they found is genuinely striking. Children who play regular, active games with their father in the first 2 years build much better relationships with their peers at age 4 and 5. Why? Because play with dad is a complete practice run for the social world. They learn to take turns, they learn mutual interaction, they learn one-on-one relationship, they learn to read another person's reaction, and most importantly, they learn how to keep going without panicking when they encounter something unexpected. So that father sitting on the floor making silly sounds on a Saturday morning was, without realizing it, teaching his baby the fundamental rules of the social world. Now go back to that Saturday morning. Hair disheveled, no plan, sitting on the floor before even making coffee. He had no idea what was happening in that moment, but your baby's brain was doing more than one thing at once. It was imitating. It was making predictions. It was collecting social cues. It was learning in the middle of laughter. It was drawing the map of the social world. All of it that morning, with those silly sounds and those simple movements, and that look. What is he going to do now? The look you saw in your baby's eyes was actually saying this: "You are the most interesting and most reliable guide to this world for me." Sometimes mothers feel this: "I wish I could play like that too." But know this: you are already giving something else. You give trust, you give warmth, you give language. He gives something different. And when both are together, a complete world forms for that child, which means your baby needs both mother and father attention. And for fathers, this needs to be said. That morning when you sat on the floor, you had no plan. But that was exactly what was perfect for your baby. That unplanned moment. That unprepared, pure, real moment. Sometimes the most ordinary moments leave the most lasting marks. And sometimes the most valuable thing a father can give his baby is simply sitting on the floor and making silly sounds. Maybe most of what a father teaches his baby is taught without either of them realizing it, just by laughing together. If this series made you feel something different, you can subscribe here. Every week, big secrets from your baby's little world are waiting for you. Stay with love.